All right, Nick, let's talk about the Detroit Lions coming off this huge win last weekend over the New York Giants. That was a big tester. The Giants did what they had to do. I think there's a few things that teams that are trying to prove that they're actually a good team have to do. You know, they have to get a statement win, which I think they did over Green Bay. Then they have to beat a bad team. And I think, not saying that the Bears are horrible, but the Bears aren't the greatest of teams. So they went and they beat a bad team in the Chicago Bears. And then you have to beat a tough opponent. And I think the New York Giants are a pretty tough opponent, and they did beat them. But even if you were doubting that, Nick, there is an even bigger test up against them this coming week, and that is playing the Buffalo Bills. The Lions have a huge game against the Buffalo Bills, and this is no doubt in your mind real deal territory, Nick. If they beat the Bills or if they even play the Bills really close, this Lions team will be taken as a team that is for real. And we have to know, Lions fans, let us know in the comments below. What do you think the final score of this game is going to be? Is it going to be really close? Are the Lions going to blow them out? Just let us know. What are your predictions for this game? But Nick, what do you have on the Lions and the Bills?
Yeah, so this is obviously Thanksgiving football is the best. It's one of those special times of the year. I'm excited for it. But I think when I look at this matchup here, what really jumps out at me is it's kind of the inverse of what teams are really think or what people really think of these teams, right? The Buffalo Bills have not been playing their best football of late. They lost to the Jets, they lost to the Vikings. They had some early struggles against Cleveland. The Detroit Lions, on their hand, are playing far and away the best football of the year. They're in the middle of a 3-game winning streak, to your point. They had a statement division win against Green Bay. They won against Chicago, found a way to win on the road, like you said. And then they had a just dominating win. Then you just beat the Giants, who are a good football team. They dominated the New York Giants in New York. So this is a Lions team that's playing its best football of the year. The Buffalo Bills are kind of limping along a little bit right now. The Lions are healthier. They're building momentum. The Bills are kind of like slow, a little stagnant. I'm looking at the over-under right now. I'm looking at the spread right now. It's 9.5 in Buffalo's favor. I think that's crazy high. I think this is a brutally close game. The Detroit Lions play teams very, very close. They run the ball well. That's how teams like the Jets. That's how teams like the Vikings move the ball against Buffalo and won both those games by being physical. The Lions obviously are very good at that. And the thing I want to really keep my eye on is this Lions secondary that's been playing just balls out the past few weeks since they moved on from Aubrey Pleasant and promoted Duker to run that secondary. They've been playing at an extremely high level, and they have their biggest test on Thanksgiving with Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and the rest of this receiver core of the Buffalo Bills. Minus, we talked about Jeff Okudah a few times this season, how good he's looked and how much better he's gotten. I think this is the ultimate test. If he comes out and has a quality game against his Buffalo Bills wide receiving group, I think that's proof that Okudah can shed the bust label. He's overcome the injuries and the early struggles in the part of his career, and is making huge steps. I like the Lions in this matchup. I know the odds makers don't like it. The Bills are a huge favorite on the road, and I can see the reasons why Buffalo Bills Super Bowl favorite. But Miles, it feels like there's a lot of momentum in the state of Michigan right now, right? You've got undefeated Michigan Wolverines, undefeated Ohio State. It's just this sort of this energy in the state right now. I think you kind of almost have to feel like there's a lot of mojo on the Lions right now.
Oh, yeah, no, I think the Lions have a lot of stuff going for them. And Nick, I think this is a season of change for the Lions. This is them getting out, like you said, Okuda changing that bust label, showing that he is good. Jared Goff trying to come in and lead a high-powered offense. The Lions defense changing from Aubrey Pleasant. And as of late, since 2016, Nick, the Lions have lost their last 5 Thanksgiving Day games. But I think this is the day that they change that narrative. And you think, okay, Miles, this is a crazy proposition that you're making. But no, Nick, it's not. The Bengals excuse me, not the Bengals. The Bills are coming off of a huge, I would say, set of 3 games that were pretty disappointing. They lost to the Jets, who I think aren't a good football team. They lost to a Vikings team who kind of has come out as maybe fraudulent. They're not quite as good as they are. They've been exposed a couple of times. And they played a really close game with the Browns, who aren't necessarily playing the best football. The Browns can hang with you, but they can't beat you. And I think that the Bills let the Browns hang around for a little too long for my liking. So I'm thinking that the Bills kind of have a chink in their armor. They're still a very, very good team. But what I'm getting at, Nick, is I think this is a winnable game for the Lions. I don't think they should go in there thinking, okay, we're going to lose to the Bill, and then we're on to the next game. No, I think you come in on this Thanksgiving Day to look to change stuff. That's what this year for the Lions is all about, change. And let's get past this 5-game losing streak on Thanksgiving and turn over the new leaf for this season, Nick.
Yeah, and you look at the Josh Allen, this is one point I want to bring up here is he does have that elbow injury. He's had 4 interceptions over the past 3 games. He hasn't looked as good. They tried to limit some of his running opportunities. And you brought up the performance against the Vikings and the Jets. This is one thing I want to highlight here real quick. The Minnesota Vikings ran for a buck 47, averaged 5.9 yards per carry against Buffalo Bills. Again, I think the Vikings aren't as good of a running football team as the Lions. The Lions are extremely good at running the football. And here's the big one here. The New York Jets ran for 174 yards, over 5 yards a carry against the Buffalo Bills. Again, I think the Lions offense is far, far, far better than the New York Jets, just pretty much across the board. The Jets offense kind of stinks, and they're still able to do that against the Bills. It just feels like the stars are aligning here. It just feels like one of those moments in a season where all the energy is behind one team, but when you take a step back and actually take a deeper look at the rosters, the momentum, it's all behind the other team. I said, I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to give you my prediction. I'm going to go 30-27 Detroit. I'm going to say Detroit's up, say 30-20 late. They get a few turnovers to get that lead. The Bills cut it to 30-27, 3-4 minutes to go, and the Lions run the football down the clock to down the rest of the time, run out the clock and win the football game. I'm calling it probably the upset, obviously of the year potentially at this point. 30-27 Detroit over Buffalo. First game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think something similar to that, like a 35-31 high scoring game, but yet they get it done. So 35-31 Detroit. I'm really looking forward to this, Nick. Last year I picked Detroit every single game until they finally won, and I'm feeling the same way this way. So I'm excited to see this game on Thanksgiving Day.